Hello everybody, I am Joseph, the first J of Jmdjstudios, and welcome back to another Top 10 list. Today we have for you the Top 10 PlayStation 1 video games. All it takes to qualify for this list is it had to come out on the PlayStation Original. So, that being said, let's jump right into this one. You know, my videos would be a lot quicker if there wasn't advertisements. Alright, number 10 on our list is Fighting Force. Now this is going to be a very weird entry because this game, out of all the games we got, probably got the most mixed reception from critics and fans alike out there. However, Fighting Force is a really good beat-em-up game. One of the best versions this early into the 3D platform. So, it's very similar to games like Final Fight and Streets of Rage. So if you've ever played those games, they're really incredible games. Now this one's not quite as good as those, but it's good enough to make this list. The game transitioned very well into 3D, but like I said, it did end up getting mixed reviews. However, the game is very fun to play. It's a very good beat-em-up game. So, if you've never given it a shot, I highly recommend you give it a shot. It's pretty cheap nowadays to find a copy of, so if you've got a PlayStation 1, I highly recommend it. It's a really good game. Originally, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but originally I'm pretty sure that this game was developed to be a Streets of Rage 4 title, and they pulled the name off of it when they decided, hey, we want to make this multi-platform, and Sega was like, no, Streets of Rage is ours, it's got to stay on us or nothing. So they changed the name to Fighting Force. So, that being said, it made number 10 on our list. Okay, so coming up at number 9 on our list is Xenogears. Now you may have heard of entries in this franchise much later in this, such as Xenoblade Chronicles or Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenogears is one of the first in the series, and it is really good. It came out in 1998, and here's something that was really interesting about the game. It had two battle systems in place. It was made by Squaresoft, so it's a really good RPG. You know, when Squaresoft or Square Enix makes a RPG, it's really good. Well, that's usually the case. It's hard to find a bad RPG by them. But the battle system has two different ones. It's got the traditional battle system, and then they have one where you control gears, and that gives you new moves for each player. So you get like two battle systems for the price of one, which is really cool. The game has a lot of principles and philosophies hidden within it. Those principles and philosophies really influence the game's story, the characters, the music, everything. You can really see it. If you look it up before you go into the game, there's different philosophers and stuff from time, like Socrates and stuff like that. So if you look that up, you'll see their influence in the game. If you wait till after the game and then you look it up, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So the game itself it's really fun to play. It's got this incredible art style to it, as you can see behind me. It's like animated, but not exactly animated, but it's really good. The game is good to look at, the game is fun to play. I think it's aged very well, and it's a really good RPG, and definitely deserving of the number 9 slot on our list. Okay, so coming up at number 8 on our list is the original Tomb Raider. What an incredible game Tomb Raider was. Tomb Raider was, I mean, nowadays it's kind of hard to control. It's very, polygonal, but the game itself has not lost its sense of exploration. You're Lara Croft and you break into tombs. You raid them. You go in, you hunt for treasures, you hunt for secrets, and you avoid traps and obstacles, including, but not limited to, pits that will kill you, boulders that will crush you, and giant grizzly bears. Because there's a part where if you fall in a pit, there's a giant grizzly bear, and that thing is really hard to kill, and I think it's in the first or second level, so that's baloney. That being said, the original Tomb Raider is a really fun game to play. I mean, even today, to me anyways, it's still pretty easy to control. It's still pretty easy to look at. Of course, that being said, I did grow up playing the game, so I first got to play this game at Josh's house from our channel. I went over to his house. He had a PlayStation 1. I had an N64, so I would always bring my 64 with me, or vice versa, and we would play games together. So, you know, I would bring over Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Paper Mario, and I would go over there and play games like Tomb Raider. So, Tomb Raider was a really fun game, and honestly, Tomb Raider is one of the first games that I played like that. Really, I mean, up until that point in my childhood, I hadn't really played that many games with guns and games like this. That was this, you know, serious in tone. So Tomb Raider it's just a really good game. It was revolutionary for the time, and it's still very fun to play through today. You never feel so, you know, the sense of exploration where you're like, you know, I'm in this tomb and I don't know what's going to happen next, but I've got to be smart enough to figure out not to die and to get that treasure at the end. That made number 8 on our list. Okay, so coming up at number 7 on our list is Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. Now, Crash Bandicoot was made by amazing developer and publisher, Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is fantastic. You may know Naughty Dog from The Last of Us and Uncharted, but this is one of the original Naughty Dog games, and it was fantastic. So fantastic that Crash Bandicoot essentially became the face of PlayStation. He was the mascot. Nintendo had Mario, Sega had Sonic, and Sony had Crash Bandicoot. I love Crash Bandicoot. I love what Crash Bandicoot represents, and I love the way his games play. His games are 3D platformers, but they're so different than other 3D platformers. It's crazy. It is one of the perfect mixes of a 2D and a 3D platformer in the same game. It's so good. A lot of the levels have the camera either directly behind you or directly in front of you, and you're running to the camera or away from the camera, so it's almost still like it's a 2D platformer, but it's different. It's not, the game does not have the camera system like other games do, where the camera has to be an intelligent camera and kind of follow you, or you have to control the camera yourself. The camera is fixed in one angle or another, and that actually makes the game really good, age really well, and play really well. The game also has a high level of difficulty and challenge in it. Some people, most people, think that that Crash 2 is actually a step up from the other Crash games. It's a really good game. I mean, what else can I say about it? It's Crash Bandicoot 2 on the PlayStation 1. It made number 7 on our list. Coming up at number 6 on our list is another 3D platformer that goes by Pac-Man World. Now, Pac-Man World is a really, really good 3D platformer on the PlayStation 1. One of my personal favorites. And I actually did not get to play this game growing up, and oh how I wish I got to play this game growing up, because I probably love Pac-Man even more than I do now. Pac-Man World was just such a good game. I don't even know where to begin with this game. First of all, as you can see behind me, Dig Dug. But no, Pac-Man World was this incredible game. Let me skip ahead to some of the gameplay. So, as you can see behind me, the game it features mazes that are almost like a top-down perspective of Pac-Man. So, a lot of the mazes in the game actually look like the original Pac-Man, just with a 3D. Now, you'll see this a lot because these mazes made a return in both Pac-Man World 2 and 3 and Ms. Pac-Man Maze Madness. All of those are really fantastic games in this series, but the original Pac-Man World was fantastic. Graphically speaking, it aged very well in my opinion. It is one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 1. The music is good, the level design is really good. Pac-Man has all sorts of new skills that he never had before. Well, he kind of had them before, but not like this. This was one of the first times ever that Pac-Man was designed with the boxing gloves and the shoes. So, I think there was 1 or 2 games before this where he was actually designed like that, but this was one of the earliest. So, I highly recommend if you like 3D platformers or games on here like Crash Bandicoot, give Pac-Man World a try. It made number 6 on our list. Okay, so number 5 on our list is Crash Bandicoot Warped. This is actually technically known as Crash Bandicoot number 3. Crash Bandicoot Warped is about time travel, which is why it makes it one of my favorite games on the PlayStation. But overall, the game is an improvement on the series. You've got a lot going on. It picks up directly after the last game, and the idea is he's decided, I'm going to time travel back in time, and I'm going to get all the crystals from their original places in time. That way it doesn't matter if Crash stops me or not, because I'm going to go back before him and get them. And of course, you know, Crash time travels as well and stops his plans. So, Crash Bandicoot Warped. It's such a good game. I mean, they changed up the formula so much, but not enough to where it's not Crash Bandicoot. Once again, another amazing entry in the Crash series by Naughty Dog. Definitely deserving of the number 5 spot. Okay, so coming up at number 4 is another fantastic RPG on the original PlayStation. It is Dragon Quest VII. Dragon Quest VII. Dragon Quest. Let me just put this out here that on a personal list, I like Dragon Quest more than Final Fantasy. Dragon Quest has this, there's something about Dragon Quest that I just absolutely find fascinating. The world, the creatures, the characters, the stories, all of it is fantastic. Dragon Quest VII is no exception to this rule. It is a beautiful game to play on the original PlayStation. If you've never played it, I highly urge you to pick it up. Let me skip ahead a little bit here. So as you can see, the sprites on the game look like sprites, but they're in a 3D environment, which is really cool. The game actually looks a lot like Legend of Zelda when you think about it. But the camera can move and tilt and turn, which is really cool. The combat is turn by turn. The story in this game is really, really good. I mean, I cannot tell you enough how good the Dragon Quest series is. This one is a fantastic game on the PlayStation 1, and Dragon Quest 8 is on the PlayStation 2, and that one is incredible as well. So if you've got a PS1 or a PS2, I highly recommend picking up 7 and 8 and playing them both together. Really good games. You'll love them. I love them. We love them. Number 4 on our list. Number 3 on our list, Final Fantasy VII. This, in many gamers' hearts and minds and opinions, is the pinnacle of the Final Fantasy franchise, and I'm not going to argue with that. Final Fantasy VII is a really good game. It is a legendary game. It is a game that has very much so went down in history as being phenomenal. Critically acclaimed. So good. The characters in this game are, they're so good. You play as characters such as Cloud and Tifa, and you fight one of my favorite video game villains ever, Sephiroth. The one-winged angel. He is an incredible villain. He has a katana that he fights you with, and I mean, it's like the size of a house, man. Like, it's crazy. The story is just so deep and enriching. Like, you start playing the game and you have to see how it ends. Like, there is no just picking it up and putting it back down. You've got to see how it ends. You've got to see where it takes you. The game is a little polygonal, as you can see, but I think that's okay because it doesn't take away from the experience today any more so than it did back in the day. I definitely think that number 3 was the perfect spot for Final Fantasy VII. It is one of the best games on the PlayStation 1, and if you've never played it, I highly recommend you pick it up. And they're doing an HD remake of this game. They are changing up the combat style. It's not going to be turn by turn, I don't believe. I think it's going to be like a more action-y, kind of like Kingdom Hearts. But don't let that stop you from enjoying this game, because while it is a drastic change, it's still going to be Final Fantasy VII with a new coat of paint. it's going to be a great new way for everybody to experience the story again. So definitely give Final Fantasy VII a try. Woo! Coming up at number 2 on our list is Spyro the Dragon. Another incredible 3D platformer on the PlayStation. Spyro the Dragon is so good of a character. He just as well could have been the mascot of PlayStation. Anytime I think of Spyro, even though he has gone multi-platform as well, anytime I think of Spyro, I think of the PlayStation. That's just who I associate him with. Spyro the Dragon is a true underdog because he's such a small dragon and nobody puts much stock into him, and then you have to actually save all of the dragons. There's a lot of exploration, a lot of collectibles, and I think this game is I think it's a game, if I'm not mistaken, I think in order to beat it, you have to get it 100%. And if that's true, that's incredible because not a lot of games do that. A lot of games are like Mario 64 has, you gotta have 80 stars, I think it is, 70 or 80 stars to actually beat the game, but to 100% you gotta have 120. So that's a pretty drastic difference compared to Spyro the Dragon, where you have to have, 100%. Spyro controls very well. He runs on all fours, he has a headbutt, he can breathe fire, he can do all sorts of different stuff. So it's really cool the way this works, but you're basically going around and setting free dragons, as you can see behind me. It's a very logical choice for number 2 on our list. Spyro, a lot of people grew up with Spyro, and I'm happy that I actually got to play it when I was a kid, and now that I own the games, I can replay them whenever I want, so it's really good. Spyro definitely deserves the number 2 spot on our list. So number 1 on our list is the one, the only, original Crash Bandicoot. The original Naughty Dog game. Now, Crash Bandicoot is such a good game. Now I know that we have Warp and Crash 2 on this list, and both of those games made improvements on the series, but the original Crash Bandicoot is what started it all. It is what made Crash become the unofficial mascot of PlayStation. Crash Bandicoot had this aurora about him, he had this attitude, he had this deep personality, and the gameplay was there. It was very solid. It was a very good game. The game, it was just so compelling to play. You wanted to play. Cortex was a great villain. Crash was a great hero. The game starts out so good. Anyone who's ever played a PlayStation 1, I guarantee you they've played Crash Bandicoot. If they haven't, you really need to give it a shot because it's a really good game. Crash Bandicoot is a 3D platformer that is unlike any 3D platformer I have ever played. It is so original, it is so good. They did so much, this game did so much for the 3D platform genre. 3D platformers is one of my favorites here at Jmdjstudios. It is a favorite genre of a lot of us, and this game is no exception to that rule. The original Crash Bandicoot. Just watch it. It's so good. It's so fun. I love it. I've loved this game. This game is definitely my favorite game on the PlayStation. If I ever want to go back to a PlayStation 1 game, Crash Bandicoot is always the first that comes to my mind. It definitely deserves this spot. Thank you guys for watching another Top 10 list. Make sure you comment below. Do you agree with our list? Yes, no, and if not, why? Which PlayStation 1 games would make your list and didn't make ours? Comment below. We would love to know if you missed any. And hey, are you a PS1 collector? Do you have some hidden gems for us? Comment below. Because we're always looking. We're collectors too. We're always looking for more games. We love commenting back to you guys and having interactions with you guys. So if you watch the video, leave a comment below. It helps us out a lot. It helps our video be shared with more people, and it helps us be able to, connect with you guys on a more personal level. We comment back to every comment available, so make sure that you comment below. Make sure you like the video and share us with your friends. and subscribe to our channel. We have more weekly content coming to you guys Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with more top 10 lists coming to you every Friday. So make sure you subscribe. And you can follow us on Twitter at Jmdjstudios and at AOGame64. Subscribe hitting the watermark in the corner, and I will see you guys in the next video.